Larry, you're the guy here, bro. Yo, watching this is infuriating, bro.
You love your wife so much that sometimes you're not willing to put your foot down and say things that you don't like. And that's really good.
Yeah.
You feel so passionately about her. That means the relationship is good. The attraction's there. And I'm very happy for you about that. But I think you're so worried about losing her
You gotta put your foot down with this chick, man.
sometimes that you're sort of losing yourself.
Of us as
The
humans,
fact
it's
that
like
she answered the question on your behalf, I mean, that was like
Yeah.
an
No, I was
extremely
just saying, like,
directed question towards you. And, you know, like I said before, it seems like there's some sort of manipulation sometimes, her sort of telling you how you feel.
All right, we're back to clavicular now.
Is meant to be. Like, there are certain things to not really be joked around about. Like, you know, if for example, a girl I was with joked and said that she was like attracted to one of my friends or something like that,
Well,
like that's an
crazy.
immediate like you know, it's
Yeah, that's not right.
They're
That
just
would never-
lines that you don't
But in
cross.
that case, I was the one trolling her. She wasn't trolling me saying, "Oh, Rampage is attractive." That's what the Clipper said.
Yeah.
Well, if you say a girl's attractive, it's not the same as her saying a guy's attractive. Not the same again, Larry. Larry has a very Larry's very blue pilled, bro. It's actually kind of shocking how blue pilled he is. The more and more I listen to him talk, the more I'm like because you could tell off of his response that he believes in blank slate equalism.
He said he's fine, but he's not my type. Like, not he's fine. Like, he's like, he's fine, like, but he's not my type.
But then somebody in chat was saying, but she never said no, so Larry was trolling me. Oh, yeah, but you never said no, so I was just laughing, like nervous laughing because I didn't know what to say. Like, I'm one of those people that laughs when she's like, you know.
Okay, well, fair enough. Let's see.
Yeah, that was really bad. No, with their annoying ass voice.
Okay, so that's a big one. That's always talked about, viral topic, guy friends.
Mm-hmm.
The way I think about that is men and women cannot be friends. There's too much tension there, so it just can't happen in any context. So you're saying that you do have male friends?
Yes, I do have one best friend who's been my friend for over 10 years. He's married, he has 2 kids. Larry knows him. We went for dinners multiple times, and it's not like my friend that we're like hanging out every day. Like I see him, I haven't seen him 2 years in person, you know. Like, but I will see him occasionally in Dubai, like once every 6 months because he lived in Abu Dhabi. But he's been like my best friend for 10 years now.
But the thing is, if you were to present that opportunity to these guy friends, in 99.99% of the cases, they're going to choose to engage in relations with you. So,
but if there was never an attempt, there was never ever a situation.
Because you never gave him the opportunity. So,
well, still, that's what counts to me. But we are so like polar opposites of like each other types as well. Maybe like I can't even imagine that anything like that could ever happen between us. But it's just like
maybe you can't imagine that, and I believe you because men and women are different. But that's not what he's sitting there thinking. He's thinking, oh, maybe one day, maybe if I'm really nice, and this relationship.
Even if that was ever like
that's on his mind, but that's not your fault. That's not a problem of you necessarily, but you got to know men. You got to know the guy, and that's all. That's going to be every single guy.
But I feel like you're so deep
with.
into our friendship that even if that was ever like a fleeting thought, like that would have happened. Like maybe he had that like 10 years ago. It just happened It just happened so much. Like he even like helped us now.
There was something there.
Huh?
So there was something. You're saying if it were to happen.
No, I'm saying even if that was ever a fleeting thought for him, where he would like, there was ever a window opportunity where he was like, I can swoop in, like that would have been gone a decade ago. I never felt ever like an ounce of him trying at me in any way other than like purely friendship, like pure friend. Like he always treated me like a sister.
But that is, to be fair, a lot of people's is the whole friendship card, playing that role, being that supportive.
But we kind of like he was a friend of like my best friends, of my best
Just
friend.
a guy really who doesn't have game at the end of the day.
He has a lot of game, and like he always like used to.
Bruh.
Like he was kind of like with one of my best friends, but there was just never anything. It's just, I don't know, he's just my best friend, and I never noticed anything inappropriate for him. And Larry feels very comfortable with him, and like he helped us out now while we were in Russia. Like he's just a good guy, and like he knows. Like I told him straight away about him, and I introduced him where I made him feel comfortable around him, about him. And what I was saying here, like somebody's asking me, I don't know, somebody asked us in chat, can Larry have girlfriends? Because I said I have a guy friend. I was like, no, because he never had the girlfriend before, and why would he have one while in a marriage with me all of a sudden? Like I'm not gonna create now a best friend where like a guy best friend while I'm married. This was just like way before him. So now he never had a girlfriend before me. Why would he all of a sudden have it while in marriage with me?
Well, I don't think, it's a good idea for Larry to just go out and inorganically get a girlfriend. But if something that made sense sort of came about, would you be opposed to that?
Well, depends on the situation. Like, for example, our videographer.
Like, it's just timing for you that you already had a guy that you were friends with.
Yeah, her opinion shouldn't even matter in this regard. If Larry wants to get another girlfriend, he should be able to do it with like no headaches. And if she doesn't like it, she can go pound sand. Okay, guys, you got to rule your like dictators, dude. Like, opinion really doesn't matter. It really doesn't, dude. And I know some people don't like hearing that, but no one really gives a fuck about what what we think. Being very blunt and honest here. Who gives a fuck?
But maybe there's some sort of relationship that could form for him after the fact that you're already married, and so.
Well, it depends. Like, it's just there's so many different scenarios.
But
like,
you don't like it though. You just overall you don't like him having any friends.
No, not in the sense of like, oh, they're chatting on the phone, they're like trying to see each other, like, go for a coffee, for a lunch. Like, why? Like, I don't understand it.
Have you ever done that? Hung out with your guy friend without Larry's presence?
Yeah, because he doesn't. Never, he
there
hasn't
you go.
been in Dubai for so long. But that.
Oh, that's weird.
That's just like insanely hypocritical.
I don't think so. I don't agree with you, because it's not like I created now a guy friend all of a sudden now
that's like the
marriage,
exact-
and I'm trying to see him like outside of like our, like trying to go on lunch. Like, I just met, like, I created a friend in America now that I moved here, and all of a sudden like, oh yeah, let me go with this person for lunch. I just like became friends with him. You know what I'm saying? This was happened like a decade ago, like 10 years ago. I haven't made any new guy friends.
You guys said they're view botting. I don't know who's view botting and who's not. I just know that I don't view bot. View botting is for
And since I've been with Larry, or even before Larry, this friend has been my friend for 10 years.
Does that like make sense to you at all?
Yeah, she's been friends of this person. She's been friends with this person for over a decade, and he was well before my time. He did actually help us out when I was in Russia, and I didn't detect any sort of romance between the two of them. I don't see.
Yeah, but he's definitely tried before in the past, or would do it if the opportunity presented itself. Like, guys, the reason why having a friend, the reason why your girl can't have a friend, the reason why your girl can't have a male friend is because we all know that women are useless as friends. I mean, women are useless as girlfriends. Let's be honest. Even as girlfriends, they tend to be useless. You have to coach them and teach them everything to make them useful. So could you imagine if they're not even sucking your like, what? Get out of here. They're already useless. So since they're already useless, what's the point of being friends with them? They're barely useful when you are them, bro. Then you're dumb over here want to be friends with them without getting your sucked. Come on, bro. That's why I don't buy it. That's why I don't buy it. They always have ulterior motives, because being a friend with a woman in of itself is useless.
It being an issue.
They always open chat
They offer no utility, bro. Like none.
with him. There was never even.
But listen, like, I'm just so secure in our relationship that I trust her, and when she tells me, look, like, it's always been platonic, and I take her word for it, and that's that. Now, would it be fair for me to say, hey,
Yeah, platonic for her, not the other.
hey, well, you've known this person for like 10 years, you can't talk to him anymore because I just don't want you to? Like, I don't, because if it was really bothering me, I would, but it just doesn't. Like, he's not local. Like, he lives across the country. Like, they're not seeing each other all the time. They're hardly ever interacting. I mean, how often do you even speak to him on the phone, if ever? You know, it's like not something.
I mean, we do speak, but it's like, it was never anything. If you ever was to go through chat, there was never anything I would hide from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always every chat.
But the problem would be that, she's saying, if you were to be going out and getting a coffee with someone of the opposite gender, like, that wouldn't be okay.
No,
while
because
justifying herself doing the exact thing.
Because he doesn't have any friend. If he had a friend, like before me, like a girlfriend before me, and they were friends for real, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's understandable. But all of a sudden, he never had one and wants to have all of a sudden now while he's in marriage. It just does not make sense because we.
Well, 10 years ago, he might have been in a spot that it didn't make sense for him to cultivate a relationship with a woman or something, and maybe it did for you, right? So,
like, I have no problem with like somebody from like a that he's working with or whatever, call him or stuff like that. Like, that's for me understand. But like all of a sudden, because I know the way he works, and I know he even told me I never had like a girlfriend himself, and he just does not feel.
Yeah, because they're useless. Did you ever ask yourself why? Because girlfriends are fucking useless, dude. That's why. Okay. Sorry to fucking bring up the elephant in the room here, but yeah, friends are fucking useless. Okay, that's why. Like, I gotta spell this shit out for everybody.
Comfortable for me having that. Like, he told me himself, and all of a sudden, like, he tells me, oh, I changed my mind, I want to have a girlfriend. Don't you think that just like sounds ridiculous?
It's not about changing your mind, right? It's like, if something came about that made sense for Larry to have a girl, whether it was someone that he trained in the gym with that's just a friend.
But he doesn't train with anybody at the gym like a girl.
I'm just saying if it made sense, if something were to come about that made sense for him to have a friendship with a girl, you're sort of saying like, no, that's not okay.
Yes, that's my boundary.
And that's...
Maybe it's hyper.
Okay, so then he should be able to tell you, don't hang out with your guy. Like, he doesn't care, I guess. You can make that argument, he doesn't care. But it's still wildly inappropriate for her to impose these standards on him that he doesn't impose on her. And he's the man. Like, Larry, you're the guy here, bro. Yo, watching this shit is infuriating, bro.
Maybe to use hypocritical,
Damn.
but that's my boundary. And, like, that's not something I'm willing to change. And he knows that. And he
Okay, well then you know what, bro? You're single then. Bruh, like, come on, man. This has pictures of herself all over the internet looking like a whore, bro. Like, the least you could do is let me go f another bitch without you crying and complaining about it, bro. Incredible. Incredible. These women are out of order, dude. Out of order, man.
feels comfortable, like understand it from your perspective, and in your dynamic that does not work. But in my dynamic, in our dynamic, that's how it is, and that's that,
You know, if the opportunity made sense for me to, at this stage of my life, after being married for 5 years, befriend a female, maybe it's another streamer that we're now collaborating with on a regular basis, for example. Yeah. Look, we're going to work that out. And like, it's likely I'm going to probably never collaborate with a streamer, at least in the early stages of the relationship. I have that particular person, hypothetically speaking, alone without my wife. But maybe that could develop later on where like the wife is very comfortable. Maybe the streamer person that's a female has a boyfriend or she's married. And then she's, okay, fine. Like, I trust you, And I don't believe.
You had that, like, where we married, like you collaborated, for example, Fafa Fitness multiple times. And, I wasn't even comfortable before I met her. Once I met her and like I met her boyfriend, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. That's cool. And they were communicating like as well.
Who gives a fuck what she likes or what she doesn't like? That's the thing, bro. Like, you do what you want. You're the man. You pay the bills. Bro, you're giving this bitch an allowance. Like, yo, if I'm giving you an allowance, okay, you're gonna shut the fuck up, okay? I'm giving you an allowance, which means I'm allowed to fuck other bitches, okay? That's how this goes. I'll be if I'm giving a chick $50K a month as an allowance and I'm not allowed to fuck another bitch. I'll be bro. Like, what? What? I'm giving you an allowance to allow you to shut the fuck up about my affairs. Craziness, dude. Craziness. It's like sometimes I think like I'm like on an island by myself or something, bro. Yo, like, am I the only guy that thinks like are and like we shouldn't take anything they say seriously? Like, Larry, come on, man.
And they went, like, not just him but her boyfriend for lunch. Like, that's a different dynamic. But I wouldn't say that like that's your like a girlfriend. That's like a business relationship where you're working. Same way would happen with the streamer you're working with. That's like a business relationship rather than like a friendship.
Yeah, well, I guess you could justify that, but I sort of feel like, and I'm getting the vibe, maybe you kind of feel this as well, that she's kind of telling you how you feel and telling you that you're okay with things.
Yep.
And just it feels a little bit like almost manipulative. Do you get that vibe ever?
I don't get that vibe, because if I genuinely wanted to befriend a female outside of a business dynamic, I wouldn't, because for one, I've never been in that position where I wanted to befriend a that there was no opportunity for us to do business together in any capacity for the sake of just being a friend. Like, if that was the case, like, I'd probably have the intention to.
Yeah, because Larry knows innately that we're useless as friends. He even knows it. So why the fuck are you letting her have male friends?
Like, it wouldn't be on some let's just grab a coffee and grab a bite to eat. It would just be like, well, I think you're hot. There wouldn't really be, like, it would be malicious intent. Like, I just can't see myself ever being in that position unless there was like a business dynamic.
Yeah, there's really no reason to ever be friends with a female.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, like, it is a little bit outrageous to have like a male friendship. The only man really that should be in your life at this point is your father, your brother, and Larry. So
we'll have to agree to disagree on that one.
So I sort of feel like, and I think you're gonna sort of agree with me here, is that you love your wife so much that sometimes you're not willing to put your foot down and say things that you don't like, and that's really good.
Yeah.
You feel so passionately about her. That means the relationship is good. The attraction's there, and I'm very happy for you about that. But I think you're so worried about losing her
You gotta put your foot down with this chick, man.
sometimes that you're sort of losing yourself, and you're
Facts.
losing.
But I think you're also looking just stuff from your perspective, how you would. I don't think you really look at things objectively. I think that's the problem here. You look how you would act.
He is looking at it objectively, and objectively speaking, you're out of control. Okay, it's actually quite to the contrary. Objectively looking at it, you're out of control, lady. You have all these standards and shit like that. Like, bro, you're getting an allowance. Like, what? How you gonna pay a bitch an allowance to tell you can't f other? Crazy to me, bro.
In a situation that you're in, you don't understand that, like.
No, I'm not even trying to put myself into his shoes or
I feel like
insert myself in any
just
way.
like from your perspective. I feel like, okay, you're setting you away, and like you hear what we're saying, but you're not really like processing it in a way to understand. Like, okay, like maybe different.
Actually, that's the direct opposite. He's listening to you, and he's understanding it, which is why he's coming back with what he's coming back with. He can clearly see that the dynamic here is up. She wears the pants in a relationship. He doesn't. She's the demanding one. He's the workhorse. And if things continue on this trajectory, it's just not going to be a good day for Larry. So I would argue he definitely knows what's going on here.
People work a different way. There is a different dynamic with other people, and that's what makes.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that dynamic is going to work, right? Yeah, she's basically making an argument like, yeah, you might not look at it as optimal, but it still works. Yeah, but for how long? Relationships like this never last long term. And I'm telling you, once she gets her immigration adjustment, she's out of there, bro. That's going to turn into Goku.
That's the beauty of this of us as humans.
The fact that she answered the question on your behalf, I think that was like an extremely directed question towards you. And like I said before, it seems like there's some sort of manipulation sometimes. Her sort of telling you how you feel. When I was asking you, like, genuinely, could this be it? So like, you don't even have to answer the question. It's just something to keep on your mind. Like, maybe you are just scared of navigating things wrong and losing the thing that you love. And that's very understandable. I don't think that anyone should fault any man for having that sentiment, because that makes you human, right? That makes you extremely human. Someone who's not a psychopath, and someone who's deeply in love. So, I admire you for that. And I hope, you're able to sort of cultivate this relationship going forward in a way that just makes sense as much as possible for you. So, like, you don't have to say exactly how you feel or exactly what you want on the internet, but just going forward, sort of, I'm just hoping maybe you could keep some of this in the back of your head so that you're looking out for sometimes some of these different tactics that are being used, So, just going forward, it's always good to have that on your subconscious.
Mm-hmm. And I'm standing on this hill where I say, like, I genuinely do not have an issue since the beginning with her being in contact with a male friend that was many years before my time. And that's that. And maybe many here in the chat, I can see them spamming on a leash or whatever, probably people that aren't even in a relationship themselves. Yeah,
but the thing is that I know he's saying like, yo, it doesn't offend me, but okay, it's still not acceptable just because it doesn't offend you, right? They have this famous saying like, you don't know what you don't know. Like in this case, Larry doesn't know what he doesn't know, right? His naivety is gonna do his undoing if he keeps going down this road.
Trying to tell me, a married man,
cruising for a bruising, man.
Happily married, by the way, like that I'm X, Y, and Z, and I should behave this way. But I'm happy in our relationship, and when it comes to that particular male friend, I know it's platonic. I take her word for it. I trust my wife. Like, there is no discomfort. Whenever we have,
look, she could be, and that's true, Larry. On her end, it's probably platonic, fine, but it ain't on the next side. That's the point.
Discomfort, talk about it. And this is how come we've been able to make it 5 years, right? Because our communication is so strong. I don't bottle things inside. I don't just explode one day like, well, like, what's really at play here? Like, what do you have going on with this person? Or I don't trust you doing this or that, or talking to this person, that person. That's not how we get down. Like, we don't argue. We don't fight ever, right? We genuinely have a very healthy relationship because our communication is rock solid. So when these things whether it's
we're fighting on stream. What are you talking about?
The beginning, the middle, or now come up, whatever it is.
We're having disagreements on stream, whatever it is.
Just talk it out.
Absolutely. And listen, the last thing that I'm trying to do is sit here and say this part of your relationship doesn't work. This isn't going well, because that would be right. I'm a 20-year-old kid. That doesn't even make any sense. You guys have been married for 5 years. You understand each other more than I or anyone on the internet ever could. All I'm simply saying is being brought to attention.
Also, optics matter for you as a social media influencer and the man in the relationship. This is terrible optics.
Attention or being made aware of potentially some other perspectives or some other things that could be going on is always good, right? So, like I said, not trying to convince you anything is wrong or you should operate differently in any way at all. Just something to keep on, in the back of your head. And when you see different behaviors, it'll sort of be like a little trigger, like, maybe I have to reevaluate my position a little bit. And I've always had people doing that for me, and it's something that's been very useful because love kind of blinds you in a lot of cases. And friends have always been there to look out for me when I wasn't navigating through that kind of stuff in the best way. The same thing was true for me. I was like, no, this is going well. I'm, might be okay with this. And then they tell me, maybe this is a little bit of manipulation. Maybe you can navigate it a little better. I'm like, yeah. but it's in my head now, and I could react in a little bit of a different manner going forward when
yeah,
the
but
same
the moment
behaviors.
you put other people in your relationship, I think that's wrong. Like, I understand your perspective. You should have somebody else tell you, but I feel like, okay, we know our dynamic, and I feel like you should never let other people be involved in your relationship. I never tell any of my friends or my family whenever we have a problem. We go, we talk, we sort it out, because nobody else should know your business. And I don't need my friend to give me a perspective on my relationship. They can never get the grasp a full picture of our relationship and our dynamic based on like the information I give them, because it's just like one-sided. My friends hear my story, his friends would hear only his story, so there is never a full picture. So I feel like we should not take anybody's advice on our relationship unless it's something like, okay, like we went to a therapist and like we want to really talk about it, and we like openly say both of our stories, and that's like very different situation.
That's where I'm going to hugely disagree that the people around you and the people who are super close to you in your circle shouldn't have an idea of what's going on, or shouldn't give you any advice as to sort of what you're doing. Your male friends, if you've cultivated those relationships in the right way, your circle is the right people, will never betray you and always have your back.
And that's for the men. The guys, if they're real, got you. But if the no,
that is not something that could be said about really anyone, right? So kind of understanding that, and that there will always be.
It's that ruin each other's relationships. Guys will keep it real most of the time. Hey, bro, your girl's a bit. Oh, your girl is a right? If asked. However, always ruin each other's relationships.
Those people in your life, those actually true friendships who are doing everything and will look out for you in any way necessary. It's good to have those people having a little bit of a picture into what's going on.
But you have friends who betrayed their friends after like 30 years of friendship, and they thought they were loyal, they were like the best. I genuinely feel like, and I think we spoke about this and you agree as well, we should not ever put other people in our marriage and talk about like our problems. We don't bring our relationship stuff out to public and to friends.
I believe our problems should be discussed amongst each other, not amongst our friends and family, because as my wife said, and I agree with her, it's largely one-sided. When you're telling your problem to your friends and family, whatever it is between your partner, they're only hearing your version of it, your perspective. They're not seeing the full picture, right? And usually there's a bias. Right? So can they accurately give you advice if they're not seeing the full picture? Now, if it was a professional sitting down like you are, right? I'm not saying that you're a therapist, but like someone that's mediating to the people in the relationship, that's different, right? Because now they're seeing the full picture, but it's never the case. It's always like he said, she said, right? It's always just one-sided.
But here's the thing, just for the people in the audience who are watching, if you're the man and you're wrong, and you're just giving your friends your side of the story, that's still okay. That's still not going to be an issue, because at the end of the day, you should be operating out of self-interest and making a relationship that makes sense to you and the most ways possible. So it still wouldn't be a problem.
Do you think that when men are wrong and they talk to their friends and family closest to them, that they're admitting that they're wrong, or do you think they're changing their story to make it fit them best? Like they're spinning a slightly different narrative?
Well, the thing is with right, the difference is like when men ask for advice, they're typically trying to solve the problem. When women ask for advice, they're typically trying to get sympathy. So when you go to your guy friends about your chick, more than likely, some issues happened, you're looking for some real advice, you just want to vent. So resolution conflict between men and women is completely different, okay? And since seek consultation from a very, I don't want to say evil, but from a almost like from a vindictive perspective. That's why the advice that they get is different. Okay. When men are going to their buddies to talk about their girl, a lot of the times it's like, how do I fix this problem? When girls to talk to their buddies, they complain about that said problem and almost leave it open-ended because they're not really looking for a solution. And then that's when their friends chime in like, oh girl, you could do better, blah, blah, blah. That's the difference.
Doing that, I'm creating a new narrative. It's really not a big deal, because like I said before, like you should be the prize. You are the prize in the relationship as a man. If
you're damn right, not the chick.
Done everything to sort of set yourself up as a high status, high value male. You know what I mean? So it's like, even if you were to, be operating in bad faith for some of this stuff, it still benefits you in terms of operating out of self-interest.
Mm-hmm. What about her?
Well, I mean, it's the name of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything in life is fair, is kind of what I would say.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with like life is not fair.
Like it is sort of a battle, it's a power dynamic at the end of the day. Not really a battle, but it's a power dynamic. So maintaining that is extremely important, and it's competitive, right? It's two people playing against each other to maintain that power, and that power should be in the favor of the male in a healthy relationship. That's the only way it works also, because any other way that women get bored and don't want to
deal with the guy anymore. The man has to have the power for the benefit.
That's always historically been. That's what makes sense because a man knows how to lead two people, knows how to lead.
And we know how to appreciate affection. Don't. I guess we got to learn to chat. JCS says Myron is too scared to bring people on their show and talk all this stuff, bro, hides behind the screen. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you, bro? Some of you in the kick chat are reading.
Family towards success, towards sustainability.
So. I think that was the case.
Smooth brain, probably a
the dynamic of men has changed a lot nowadays. Like I think nowadays men are very different from before men. Like have you not noticed?
But everything that I just said is still true about Larry, even if it's not true about an entire society.
Yeah, but we're speaking in general. We're not speaking specifically about Larry, not right?
Well, in the context of this, we would be talking.
Well, you were saying historically speaking about men and stuff, so it was not. We were not talking about Larry.
Okay, I don't know. Vitaly, do you know? Yeah. Vitaly wants to go. You say? I don't know what.
He's coming upstairs right now.
Yes or no? No. I don't know. I don't know if Vitaly should come. If that's up to you.
I mean, he can come, and we're gonna dip anyway. It's 1:30.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Maybe a different time. Well, let's see. Oh shit.
I said that before. Yeah, for sure. I was saying. Me and Larry met. I was 28 years old when we met, and at that time, you're looking to settle with somebody.
Oh, now it's 5 years ago. This chick is 32. Cooked.
Why would I want to settle with a broke man? You know, like we even spoke about. You want somebody like financially stable. Why would I want if I have an option? Why would I want to settle with a broke man? I don't want to do.
Well, yeah, and that's one that people get so wrong.
They get triggered on the internet. So badly. Like
I would kind of expect my to leave me if I lost all my money, if I was broke and everything went to shit. It's like, that's just logical. Like, I would understand.
I would not leave him if he was to lose everything because I know he can make money. I was saying when we met, he was broke. I would not be with him. Like, that's just like, I don't know why it's so hard for people to understand that. But if it happened, like in life, it happens. You know, sometimes you have, sometimes you don't have. Things happen. You know, like God forbid somebody's sick, you have to use all your money. You know what I'm saying? It can happen. But I know I trust his ability to make money, so I would not leave him if he was to lose money. But I can never see that happening.
Yeah, money comes and goes, but what will never go is the knowledge I've acquired over the last 15 years building my empire. You can't take that away from me.
No, never.
Right? So she knows that. She knows that if I hit rock bottom or whatever, I had to take care of someone, whatever came up, you know, I'd be able to get it all back in that.
Well, you did also spend a crippling amount of that money on, but that's fine.
So, right. But if I was broke, I was essentially like a loser when I met her and I was trying to game her and convince her like I'm a good man for her. She's like, are you? Like, what do you bring to the table?
Yeah, no, exactly. So I kind of agree with that. Like, that's just how that makes sense. Yeah. They're looking for security for their families in the future. So that's part of like who you are as a male. So it's kind of just,
exactly like
it's a very sensible thing.
Yeah, it's just people get so triggered with that, and I feel like.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude, what the fuck? These people.
So guys, I think I'm gonna react to Greg Doucette.
He's so desperate.
So Greg Doucette, right, made a video just today on responding to the allegations. Okay.
He has to literally make it up.
Ad.
I'm not going to go into depth about what he's talking about.
If somebody's lying about you deliberately, on purpose, you know what you would do? You would sue them. And so if you think I'm a liar, let's see me in court. Coach Greg, and in today's video, Larry responds to the Wheelstein files. Is he going to admit it? Is he going to address all the rumors and say, you know what? I'm a man and that is what I want. If you're not ashamed, you're not embarrassed, well, you own it. Or will he just say it's a lie? Stay tuned to find out.
Listen, I see a few messages about react to John and Greg. And listen, my response is they see that we're trending. They want to capitalize on it.
I know that some of you might think that I'm a liar, that I make it up, that I just create things out of thin air in order to get views. Some of you think that it's not true. It's a lie. I don't make it up. I'm not lying when I make any of my videos. But are you going to tell me that John Bravo, that he simply made this all up after all the videos we've seen, when he only will post a video if he knows for certain that what he's saying is true? How many of you think that he made all that up. That somehow John...
Yeah, and John Bravo was actually really hesitant to release that video, chat. You know, he didn't want to come off like a bully or anything else like that. But once all the other came out, he was like, you know what, man, I got to drop it. It is what it is. So
told me these things, these screenshots, and that he had staged all of it in order to fool Coach Greg and fool Larry Wheels, his wife, fool the entirety of the world. Does anyone believe that? And so what Larry's thinking is,
yeah, I mean, like I said before, just look at the evidence. Even if you don't like John Bravo or anything else like that, like look at his past behavior, right, and his past deviancy. It lines up, dude.
That if Larry lies, you know, Larry steals, Larry lies, Larry... that if he continues to deny it, that it will just go away. Now, here's the thing. When you do these said acts, I'm not going to repeat them. You know at some point that they are going to come out. You cannot be a famous multi-millionaire with millions of followers and spend all your monies on cam girls.
Yep. That shit's going to come out at some point, bro.
And the rest of it, and not think that it's never going to come out. You know at one point when you're texting messages saying you want to be and so on, that eventually it's going to come out. We've seen his ex-girlfriend post on Instagram talking about all of these things. And yeah, she took it down, but I know there's hundreds of thousands of you out there that actually saw it. And you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to say her name. I'm not going to talk about that. If you believe that I am a liar and that John Bravo's a liar and that all his exes are liars, well, what am I supposed to say? If you want to turn a blind eye, then by all means, you do what you want. We know that Larry Wheels had taken $50,000 from one of his closer friends in order to put a down payment on his house. We know that for fact. It was in court, and John Bravo exposed that as well. Larry...
yeah, I mean, you look at the evidence, you look at the pattern of behavior. Hey, man.
He's looking into the camera and he's saying these things and he's hoping that you believe him. You're thinking, you know what? Not everyone trusts that Greg guy. Oh, he just is a 5'6" manlet. He's a loser. His videos, they're all about drama. And so this is just drama, and so it isn't true. You really think that the videos I'm making are lies?
Greg and John are capitalizing on us trending. We've gotten collectively over 1 billion views by now between all the different platforms sharing our clips.
Have I not done videos on Larry Wheels in the past? Do I not speak about what's going on? And so, of course, if Larry does viral content, I am going to react to it. Case in point, when Larry slapped Dean. Did I not make a video on that? Why would I make a viral video about Larry being a when I could have made the same video about, I don't know, Mr. Beast? If I'm just making up lies just to get views, why wouldn't I make bigger lies about bigger influencers? Does that make sense? Why would I pick on Larry? Do you guys actually think that I have a beef with Larry? I literally was in a video with Larry. It was not that long ago. And so do I, in fact, hate Larry Wheels? I do not. I'm simply reporting the facts. The news, and FYI, this is newsworthy.
Look at our videos relative to the other videos that Greg is posting. We have like nearly 10x the views on our video about us compared to whatever else he's talking about.
Larry's saying I'm a liar, that I made all this shit up. Larry said I'm getting 10x the views on Larry Wheels videos than all my others. Mike Israetel is only 2.5 times less. It's a video about him being one fart away from being 3.6% body fat. And so, which YouTuber do you think that I...
Yeah, Mike also got beat up pretty badly by Greg Doucette, man. Was cooking that boy, man. Also, guys, don't forget, book is out. Why Women Deserve Even Less. Okay, don't forget to get it, ninjas.
I would prefer talking about Larry Wheels or Mike Gisratel, Mr. Mike. If I was going to, and I wouldn't do this, make up a lie, don't you think it would be about Mr. Mike more so than Mr. Larry Wheels? No, it isn't true that I'm getting 10x the views on Larry Wheels videos than everything else.
He's getting washed out. Nobody's watching his. It's all the drama.
If I'm washed out, why are people watching all my videos about Larry Wheels when it's about drama? Two things can be true at the same time. I can make videos about drama and still get views and not be washed out. Is it drama when I make a video about Malibu Fit, talking about his rise to popularity, why he got famous and so on? I mean, how is that bad? And so Larry Wheels, who's way more...
All the new members of OSS that just joined, welcome, guys. Welcome to the OSS, niggas. Welcome, welcome. Happy to have you guys. First month is $1. After that, it's 10 after. So if you don't like it, you can cancel. No risk to you besides 99 cents. So you won't be able to use another discount though. But welcome to all you new guys in the OSS. We're happy to have you. You got a fucking army here. Now you guys can see, if you notice the show, I have a OSS only chat, which is hilarious because it shows all the memes that you guys post. And you guys got some creative memes. I will say that. Y'all funny, bro. You guys, yo, holy shit. Is this $100 for the year still? No, I actually decreased it for you guys. It's use the code JFK911 and you get in for like 50 or 60, I forget, for the year. JFK911 is a code if you want to get in for a year. Great discount code because JFK was the last real nigga.
More famous, way more popular than Coach Greg. He has 3.4 million followers and I only have 2.4. And remember, I'm all washed up. I got 9 million views, long form content. That's what pays the big dollars, guys. If you sing a song for 10 seconds, if you get slapped in the face and you have a 3-second clip and it's watched a billion times, you don't make much money.
Yeah, shorts are more for discovery, not for generating revenue.
Larry, in comparison, 2 million views. Last I checked, and I am good in math, I have 4.5 times more long-form views than Larry Wheels. And so if I'm washed up, let's assume that I am, Larry is more washed up. Does it not make more sense that Larry would stop making YouTube videos because it doesn't pay very much when you're only good at doing short-form content? And when you do kick and you stage slaps and you stage this and stage that and say a bunch of bullshit and do things and do all kinds of nonsense, you know, let Rampage flirt with your wife, all kinds of. If you allow that, you get paid more money. And so is it possible that Larry, due to losing his viewership on long-term views, needing to make more money? I mean, does he in fact have a gold digger wife? I mean, she's saying that she is.
I want a Bentley. I'm tired of this one. I need more luxurious. I need every 3 months a new car.
Listen, enough out of you,
Bruh.
gold digger. Enough out of you. Yeah, I mean,
Bro, there's no saving this. There's really no saving this. Okay, let's transition over to higher IQ. Let's transition to